Hello, welcome back. It's Christopher Taylor with Sovereign Harmony. And first time back behind the YouTube screen here for about 2 months. I think April was the last time that I did one of these. And back then we were talking about the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, the bubble bursting. So we're going to kind of review what went on following that period and what we're kind of still in as things are still unfolding. And we were talking about the eclipses and Mercury retrograde. So Mercury has since gone direct, okay? And in fact, I got the calendar here set to June 3rd, which is the day that Mercury went direct. Today is Wednesday, June 15th. It's just about 2 o'clock almost here on the West Coast. So we're taking this back about a week and a half, about 2 weeks, I guess it is now almost. And that was when Mercury was stationary. That's what the ST means right there. So it was just about to head direct. And at the same time, Saturn was just about ready to turn retrograde. So in fact, it was on the 4th that it went retrograde. I think it'll show it. There it is. There's Saturn with an ST. So you got the ST, all right? And, very interesting that there was also a meeting that happened over that like several day period. And in my opinion, it's a meeting of, basically it was a Bilderberg meeting, okay? And this is kind of a secret meeting that has all the billionaires and all the government, special interest convening and discussing the future and what they're going to do. And if it was transparent, that'd be great, see what was going on, but it isn't very transparent. It's even hard to get any media to even be outside the hotel when they're convening for these meetings. And in my opinion, just like the quote from JP Morgan, millionaires don't use astrology, but billionaires do. I'm pretty sure that, a lot of things are planned for astrologically auspicious times. And for whatever they're planning, Saturn being stationary in Aquarius having to do with the future, Saturn having to do with structure. So, pausing to discuss the structure for the future. And then also that was forming a square to Mercury, which is also stationary. So again, that pause, and that's stationary in Taurus, which is about practical things like money in the economy, okay? And so it's the exact kind of energy you want to have a meeting like this, where everything's paused and you can stop for a minute and discuss these things and how they're going to go forward in the future, okay? So it was a Mercury square Saturn, where both planets were pretty much stationary. So now it's been a couple of weeks, so Mercury is starting to pick up speed direct motion, and Saturn is starting to pick up some speed in the reverse motion, okay? And so they, in my opinion, they took advantage of that energy for that kind of meeting. And unfortunately, we don't know what comes out of that meeting, but we are going to look at the summer coming up as far as aspects go. So I'm going to get right back to the current moment. And so there it is right there, June 15th, just about 2 o'clock West Coast time. And you can see what is happening here, okay? With Uranus and almost an exact conjunction with the moon's north node in Taurus, okay? And that's going to get more exact as we get through the summer. So mid-summer, this is pretty much going to be peaking, but really the entire summer, you can consider that conjunction occurring. It's going to get a boost when we can see Mars right here in Aries. That's going to move its way up there in the last couple of days of July, first couple of days of August. This is going to be a boom time, and not necessarily boom like positive things, but just like an explosive. Okay, Mars, Uranus, very explosive. Okay, and with this being in Taurus, I mean, if there ever was, and I mentioned this in the year ahead video at the beginning, right before 2022, and I also mentioned again in the last video that this really has a lot to do with food and resources and things like that. That's what Taurus really has to do with. So it's food and security, etc. And that boom happening there, I mean, we all know what's building right now. We've got, you got food plants catching fire, coincidentally or not, but a lot more have happened in the last 6 months than typically happen most years. There's shortages, there's high fuel prices, especially diesel, which is what actually moves everything around, food around. So things are building. We don't need astrology to tell us that things are building toward that direction. So what is going to happen this summer? It's anybody's guess, but it looks like it's going to be in our face and very obvious, whatever it is. It's not going to be a subtle aspect here. So, and whatever does happen, because it's on the North Node, we're talking about, this is how we're going to be setting off toward the future, toward where we're headed. And so could this be, a complete explosion of the narrative, right? An explosion of the idea of scarcity, and that it's being forced, or could it be, a clear realization that here is the food shortage that's been pending and coming and everything else, and here it is on our lap, right? But it's going to be fairly obvious and around that theme for sure. Okay, it's interesting because the last time I did this video, it was when Jupiter and Neptune were conjunct. Okay, and so that was, the theme for that was the bubble bursting. Okay, and so the theme for the summer is going to be boom, whatever that means. But as far as that bubble bursting period went in mid-April on in a few weeks following that, this really came through in like the media, for example. This was the time right after this conjunction. This is when the launch of CNN Plus, for example, that was a streaming service that CNN thought they could get people to pay for, but it was a huge bust and it kind of fizzled away. Netflix saw a huge exodus of subscribers and their stock was crashing. Also, Disney was having their issues with viewership and lack of support and things like that. And then there was a whole thing with Elon Musk and Twitter and purchasing Twitter, and then what that arose and the stalling, and then it kind of a lot was revealed. Let's put it that way, just through the stall in that process. A lot was revealed. And so, I mean, we can think of, Neptune itself is the planet of the story, right? And so it's in Pisces again. It's that sign that has to do with the big picture of the story. And with Jupiter, the other ruler of Pisces, with, its co-ruler in Pisces, it's really the picture that is painted for us comes through us through those media outlets. And what this is showing is like that bubble, that sort of what we're supposed to perceive or believe about the way the world is, that's presented through those mediums, kind of bursting. Okay, and the evidence is that people are literally turning away from those sources, and people, and it just kind of made itself very obvious, things that we might have already known, but it became hard to hide it in the real world anymore. And so that was where I saw the biggest themes of the bubble bursting in the greater world. And that is, that's why I'm not sure what to expect this summer with this boom energy when Mars does reach Uranus. And we can go jump ahead there and see what that looks like. So it'll be a little bit further after that. Let's see, another week or so. I go one more week. This is going to be July 29th. It's going to be pretty close at that point. So we're going to see that Uranus and the node is going to be pretty exact around that time. And here comes Mars, right on the heels. And it's just going to be, a few days later that Mars is going to hit that point as well. So we'll get to like July 31st and we're very close, and like August 1st, even closer. So just get that whole period of the last few days of July, first couple days of August is really when this ignites. But again, it's going to be building from now until then, and it's still going to exist beyond that point. In fact, Uranus will go retrograde on August 24th, I believe. And to me, that's kind of where the fallout will have to get integrated, essentially. So whatever booms in the summer, by the end of the summer, late August here, that's when Uranus goes retrograde. It's going to be retrograding in Taurus. So you can kind of think of it as like a reorganization of resources and food, et cetera, et cetera. And so, there's going to be some kind of result, and that result period will play itself out through the fall. Okay. So, it's going to be a journey here the next few months through the summer into the fall, which, I don't even have a place to live technically, so I don't have much storage. And so, I'm not like fear mongering or anything, but having a little extra food on hand isn't in water and et cetera. Now that when you can get your hands on it, isn't the worst advice, okay, at all. So I'll figure out what I got to do if it hits the fan or whatever. But It's a pretty but like I said, it's a boom energy, and this could play itself out in with regards to war, etc. As well. But I really think it's going to be more about the food security and that kind of theme. It feels pretty strong and it looks pretty strong there. Anyway, so I will leave it at that. Um, Looks like a crazy summer ahead here as we hit the solstice here next week. I think next Tuesday, yeah, on the 22nd will be the solstice, and so that's going to officially enter us into the summer months. But we're already, it's already ramping up here. So do what you got to do. If you have any questions, let me know. You can always follow my Facebook page too for more daily updates. I also have a Twitter account now and Telegram, so you can follow more daily posts on Telegram, Twitter, and Facebook. Facebook is where the full post is going to be, so it gives you more frequent updates about what's going on. You can also contact me if you want to look at these energies relative to your chart. So, personal readings as well as readings for balancing either business partnerships and couples and things like that. So creating compatibility. So you can take advantage of that as well. So yeah, feel free to contact me, Christopher Taylor, Sovereign Harmony, and maybe I will jump on here in the summer in the midst of this to see how we're all doing. If not, I will see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching and sharing, and we'll see you again.